Well, welcome back to another thrilling edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, whatever the fuck I'm doing here. I keep saying the old magazine, and I shouldn't say that, but anyway, I'm in a fucking foul mood because I just got suspended from Facebook because I said tits. You believe this? I typed tits out, and they suspended me. You know, the longer I stay alive, the longer I feel that we're slipping back into fucking time, into fucking repression and all kinds of other bullshit, but fuck it. We also had a passing the other day, William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist, French Connection, Sorcerer, and many others passed away. Looks like we're losing all our good directors too, and we're stuck with assholes like Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth, but hey, fuck it. Anybody read a good book? Maybe you want to check this out. Todd is God, the uncensored history of ECW. You see, Todd Gordon was the one who actually created ECW. It says, it's the authorized story of how I created Extreme Championship Wrestling. But what happened was, Todd was sort of involved in Tri-State Wrestling Alliance run by Joel Goodhart. They put on some tremendous cards, except that the cost of the talent exceeded the take of the venue, so to say. So they had great stuff like Abby Brody, the Sheik versus Abdul in a steel cage, a lot of great stars up there. But again, it cost so much money that they had to bail on their last show, which was going to be a battle of the Nature Boys, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers against Nature Boy Buddy Landell. So Todd was interested in starting something, so he didn't want to, do the whole Tri-States Wrestling Alliance thing again because it had lost money. He instead decided to create Eastern Championship Wrestling. And he used some, local guys like Johnny Hotbody and Tony Stetson and J.T. Smith, and would bring in some veterans like Ivan Koloff, Don Morocco, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And, the promotion gathered some headway, and then he brought in Eddie Gilbert to be the booker, and Terry Funk, which would start a feud between Eddie and Terry, which had been going on. Weirdly enough, where I used to live in Wayne, New Jersey, there was the bloodbath around the corner in a high school card. That's what started the whole feud. But anyway, Eddie was having problems, shall we say, and Paulie Dangerously came in. He said he didn't want to be paid. He just wanted to showcase some guys that were going to be part of Jim Crockett's National Wrestling Network, which never took off. So the promotion started to take off, and Paulie refused to take any money. So Todd Gordon gave him like 49% of the company, and Todd said, Paulie said, why not 50? And he goes, well, I need to have a controlling percentage. Well, everything was cool except Paulie is a snake, and I say that full of confidence because I know. Paulie basically got in and had his own little crew. It was almost like New York against Philadelphia because Paulie had his guys Taz, Tommy Dreamer, the Dudleys, and a couple other people. Todd Gordon had the Sandman, the Pitbulls, the Public Enemy, Too Cold Scorpio, Fonzie, and Sabu. And what happened was a bunch of shit was going on, and Todd was being lied to, and Heyman told him that he had somebody who wanted to buy out the promotion and take it over, but Todd couldn't be included. So basically, Paulie wanted to get Todd out of the picture. And Todd also said that Paulie was not a people person, had some definite animosity towards certain wrestlers working there, like Ian and Axel Rotten and a few other guys, and wanted them gone. And he wanted Todd gone. So the way this worked was basically that the Public Enemy and a couple other guys had asked Todd to make a call to WCW because they weren't happy being there. Todd made the call. Sabu was offered a contract. Paulie told them that he was under contract, which he wasn't. There was this whole big thing on the dirt sheets and on the hotlines about a mole in ECW was going to sell ECW out. And it wound up there was no mole. It was just Todd doing what he was asked. And at that point he decided to get out because he saw how the promotion was shaping up. The amount of drug usage being there was phenomenal. And basically Paul got out. He also covered in the book, Todd got out rather. He also covered in the book the many people that passed away way before their prime because of their out of control drug use. He also said that basically Paul Heyman got what he wanted to do. He wanted to be Vince McMahon and got to work for Vince McMahon. And basically, when he was out supposedly trying to save the company after Todd had left, he was out in California or Los Angeles on this bogus thing that he was trying to raise money to save the company when he was actually appearing in the Rollerball remake. So enough people have told me over the years what a scumbag Paul is, and knowing the wrestling business, I believe it. Paulie is where he wants to be, up Vince's ass right now. And he got his whole big shot with, being able to manage Brock Lesnar for as many times as he did. But is the book good? Yeah, it's good. Unless you've read, heard a bunch of shoot interviews, some of this stuff is not going to be new to you, but a lot of it, to a first reader would be new to you. So I highly recommend Todd is God, and again, Todd Gordon was the guy, not Paul E. Heyman, who basically created ECW. So that's that. Years ago, I was digging through some old books in one of those used bookstores, and I came up with this book, City of Bad Men, written by Ralph Cotton. Ralph Cotton is a really prolific Western writer and has written dozens of books. Most of his stuff takes place on this ill-defined area between Texas and Mexico. And one of the characters he created was this ranger, Sam Burrick, who basically in the first book was waylaid by outlaws and watched his best friend murdered, and he was left to die. He is found by this ranger, Says as they call him, who basically has a list in his vest pocket of the bad guys he's tracking down and is going to bring them in dead or alive, usually dead. So something happens to the ranger, and Burrick takes up the mantle and patrols this weird wasteland, hunting down bad guys and killing them or bringing them in. And there's other characters brought in. There's the fastest gun alive, Lawrence Shaw, who has his own little series. A little crooked horse trader named Will Summers, who has a couple spin-off books. But the interesting thing is with Cotton's writing is these characters appear and reappear in each other's books. There's also a school teacher turned gunfighter, a couple of bounty hunters that are like less than sterling. But I can highly recommend Ralph books. Unfortunately, Ralph went the route where basically, if you can see, this is one of his last things because I found out that unfortunately he passed away in 2022 at age 65, but he's writing for Walmart, exclusive Walmart, and as of this, there was over 4 million of his books in print. He also spun off these things. Now, I think these are standalone things. It's called The Gun Culture, Book 1 and 2, Friend of a Friend and Season in the Wind, which deals with a hitman from Chicago working in Florida. May not be, politically correct to mention, gun culture at this point, but Ralph spun off into these two books, proving that he was a lot more than a Western writer and could create compelling and good characters outside of the Western motif. Unfortunately, like I said, he passed away in 2022, unbeknownst to me at the time, and I just picked up these two. I think there may be a third volume, but the sad part is we're not going to get anything else from Ralph anymore, which kind of sucks. And I really hope that they don't do what Ralph Compton's estate and William W. Johnstone's estate did, is assign a ghostwriter to keep this going, because I honestly don't know anyone who could keep this, series, or the multitude of series going the way he did. And he also, another spin-off series was created this character Justin Nash, who is a cousin of Billy the Kid, and there's 3 or 4 books in that series too. So you can find these online, Ralph Cotton, and like I said, I highly recommend them. They're all good reads. So that's our show for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and above all, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.